So we thank God. All right. That being said, let's go to Exodus. All right. Exodus chapter 3. Exodus chapter 3. We're going to start at verse 1, Exodus chapter 3, and we're going to start at verse 1.
Now Moses kept the flock of Jericho, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed.
All right. So I didn't even do the recap. Well, just to recap in the last chapter, remember all of Israel, which were 70 souls, came down to Egypt, not counting Joseph because Joseph was there. They came out there and they're in their land, I believe it's Goshen, they're doing their thing. And then Spirit got on the Pharaoh, right, the ruler at that time of Egypt, and he's saying, listen, they're getting big with numbers, man. They keep if an enemy come and try to attack us, they're going to join with our enemy and overtake us. All right. So they thought, you know what, let's put them in some bondage. Let's, put them basically what we'll call slavery. And and it was harsh. It was no good thing. It was with rigor, as the scripture says. And then they started crying out to the Most High God because of all that. Make sure I get some of the notes. And then the king was trying to get the midwives, the Hebrew midwives, to when a female child was born of the Hebrews or Israel, you can let the daughters survive, but the males you're supposed to execute. They told them to execute the males. The midwives did not do that, right? They were letting the males alive, and the Egyptian king was still like they need to get killed because of the concern. And he basically told his people that when you see that, you grab all the boys and you kill them. Okay, and they did start to kill them and throw them in the river. Mhm. So a lot of basically a generation was wiped out with Israel when this was happening. Okay, and then Moses kind of get introduced. He was, they said he was a goodly child. The mother hid him in a like little basket, basically put him down the river, and Pharaoh's daughter retrieved him, and his sister was watching to see what's happening to her little brother. And then when she seen that Pharaoh's daughter got her, she came out and said, "Listen, do you want me to get a Hebrew woman to take care of him and everything, to nurse him and everything?" And she said basically yes. And long and behold, took Moses back to his mother, and his mother actually raised him. All right. So he has, he did grow up still some of the Israelite customs, and of course, he still benefited and was taught under the Egyptian customs. All right. So he kind of got dual schooling. All right. uh we don't got him where he put. Did he already kill the guy already? Did I go to that part? Yes. And so Moses did see that his brother getting beat by an Egyptian or whatever. He intervened, killed him, and then the next day he seen his brothers actually fighting. When I'm saying his brothers, Israelites to Hebrews or whatever, going at each other. He tried to break it up, and they're like, "Listen, what you gonna do? Kill us like you killed that Egyptian?" He's like, "Oh man, this is going to be noise abroad. I gotta get out of here." So that's when he fled, and now he's running into Jethro. Okay, so he's the priest of Midian, and he was given Jethro offered his daughter Zipporah for him to wed. Okay, all right. And that leads us up to chapter 3. All right. So he was keeping the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law. So he was working for his father-in-law. And it talks about where he was at. All right. Horeb, Mount of God. You'll hear that location quite often in the Bible. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in the flame of fire out of the midst of the bush. So once again, right, it's talking about the angel, okay? The angel is doing this because I told you the Most High sends his messengers to do his bidding, all right? But listen, it's not like it has less weight because the angel's doing it, all right? It holds the same weight. They're just the messenger, okay? But the weight of the words is from the Most High. Some people get caught up on that, right? So the angel came in the flame of fire out of the midst of the bush, and this also can be connected to is that Hebrews 1? Sure. Yes, Hebrews 1 and 7 says, let me just go to it real quick for this case. And they can come in different shapes, forms, and everything, how they present themselves. So it's not one way they have to present themselves. You see it in the scripture, they can present themselves in different ways. All right. So Hebrews 1 and 7, you can read that real quick, bro, if you're there.
And of the angels he saith, who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire.
So some people link it up with that. Also, the Most High is known as consuming fire as well. All right. So maybe showing some things with that. Once again, we go here. Behold, the bush burnt with fire, and the bush was not consumed. So that is something all in itself. All right. So the bush was on fire, but usually when you see something on fire, it's consuming something. So it was still being preserved, even though it was on fire. Okay. That's a miracle all in itself. All right. Anybody else got anything for verse 1 or 2? Let's keep going.
And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, while the bush is not burnt. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I.
Read verse 5 too.
And he said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anybody got anything from 3 to 5? Verse 3 to 5. Anybody got anything? Anything stand out to you? Oh, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, from verse 2, the reason why that bush was on fire, I believe it was to get Moses' attention. Sometimes, the Most High send one of his angels to do something dramatic to get his servant's attention. So that bush was burning, and normally when a bush is burning, it's consumed. So Moses is like, wow, this bush is burning, it's not consumed. Let me turn aside. And then boom, when he turned aside to see what was going on, that's when the angel spoke to him. So it was to get his attention.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. It's making me think of another point in Corinthians. And this is, like I said, we talk about patterns of the scriptures. This is a pattern. Some people get caught up on the attention getter, right? And put all their focus on that instead of what the important part was. All right. So he's getting his attention that what? He will really take hold to this message. All right. Because some people, they ain't going to take hold of the message, or they're going to second guess the message because sometimes they need that miracle. But that is not for somebody seasoned. That's supposed to attention getter is for those that's kind of new unbelievers. Okay. This is why when we talk about the tongues and stuff like that, that miracle part was to get people's attention. Now I got everybody's attention. Now I'm going to give you the message. Okay. The message is the important part. Okay. But, when Christ came to see me, he said what? Perverse and faithless generation, or wicked and faithless generation, always seeketh after a sign. Okay. But when you see, as they, even Moses mature in this thing, a lot of things, what? He just give them the word, do it. Do it, right? You don't have to give them a sign every time, right? So in the beginning, even in our walk, beloved, you might get some things, Most High might do it. but don't let that be your all in the faith or your strength in the faith. Oh, he got to do a miracle. Then I know it's him. Then I got to do, he gets you that to get your attention that what? Now, when he pushes you to the word of the truth, you can just accept it. But if you need a miracle every time to get something, you still a babe. And he did not guarantee that he's always going to give you some kind of sign or miracle. All right. But he said he give you that word. Right. So all right. Let's go back. Let's go. But that's a great point, bro. Was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, that's relatively it, but
I'm looking for the no, it's the 1 Corinthians 14 at the end.
what you mean him doing something dramatic?
1 Corinthians 14. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Not dramatic, but just wanted to show that he uses these kind of signs to get you the attention.
also with the hands, with Nebuchadnezzar's son, when them hands came across,
Oh yeah.
that was something to get somebody's attention as well. I mean, there was a plethora of things he illustrated,
But this is very important because, like I said, he showed himself throughout the scriptures. That's why we got this book. He shows certain passages throughout the scriptures. But sometimes when we're a lot of people like they skip the old and just want to go to new, and they don't understand the patterns. They think everything is just new to them, but they're forgetting kind of some of the rules and things of how the Most High works. All right. If you want to understand, and when I'm saying you get a little snippet of his mind, you need to go through all of these things. All right. Don't cut it up. It can mess you up. All right. So this is 1 Corinthians 14, and we're just going to read give me verse 22. Give me 21. Let's start 21.
and the law is written, with men of other tongues and other lips will I speak unto this people, and yet for all that will they not hear me, saith the Lord.
So another lips and other tongues, I'm going to speak to them, and they're still not going to hear me, because the point, the thing is the message. All right, what's being said, that's the thing we need to grab hold to. Verse 22. Read that slow.
Wherefore tongues are for a sign, not to them that believe.
Stop right there, because people don't get this point. Tongues are for a sign. Who are they for a sign for? He said, not to them that believe. All right. But to them that believe not. So when you're going out seeking for it, what are you actually saying? I don't believe. Okay. So he's saying this was put in place for somebody that don't believe. Now we have to ask the question, what about those that do believe? What should we be looking for? Read.
But to them that believe not, but prophesying serveth not for them that believe not, but for them which believe.
This part, I'm sorry, right there. But prophesying, it don't serve the non-believer, but it serves what? People that believe. You that say you believe, I should be able to what? Prophesy to you. Don't think of prophecy, what you've been seeing on this world, head back, rolling around, gotta do it. No. Teaching the word of God. That's the spirit of prophecy. Those that believe, I can just give you. This is what thus saith the Lord. But for those that sometimes did not get to that maturity, or you knew anything, you're trying to you on that kind of fence, he will sometimes give you that miracle aspect because you don't believe. But you're not supposed to stay in unbelief. You're not supposed to stay saying, I need a miracle for this, I need a miracle for that. Then you don't believe. But you get that as a pedestal to get you to what? The next step. So when we see that in Acts, when they're speaking in tongues and all those things, what happened? They're like, what is going on? We hearing people speaking our own tongue. Now they got their attention. This is a miracle happening right here. Then what happened right there? Once they realized, all right, this is something of God, what did he do? Peter stood up and started giving them what? Start prophesying to them. Okay? And we see, like Brother Kai, he will show certain things to what? Now you can hear the message. All right? You see something miraculous, beloved, you're going to be able to, like, all right, what's happening next? Right? You're gonna be able to hear now. Okay? So that's one of the signs it's for. All right, how do we get off of that? Brother Kai distracted me. Let's go back to Exodus chapter 3. Okay. So I'm not, like I said, this stuff you after we read and study together, we'll start to see certain things like that. Because some be like, oh, I need to see it where it said directly like that. You'll see it once you start to study and you see certain patterns. All right. Patterns only going to happen when you're reading some things. Okay. All right. What verse are we at? What verse do we read to? We read down to verse.
Well, verse 6.
Okay. So God called unto him midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place wherein thou standest is holy ground. Okay. You'll have people that still kind of take the shoes off and stuff like that. This was this one was commanded to them. So when you go to a place of worship, you have to take your shoes off. You do not have to. That was not like a commandment. There is another place. They said take his shoes off, I believe, as well. I can't think off the top of my head. All right. But however, he's taking the shoes off. For this is holy ground. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We're going to do 2 chapters today.
Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. And Yahweh said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them out of that land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
All right. Anybody got anything from 6 to 8? 6 to 8. All right. So he's introducing himself, and what happened? Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. All right. He wasn't going to see God Almighty. All right. That wasn't the case. But this is this is not a rare case. A lot of, some of our forefathers and foremothers, when they got in front of that angel and realized that, it was some celestial being, a lot of them would get scared. Okay. If you're dealing with the spirit and it's a good spirit, you shouldn't be afraid. Something you can look at. I don't know if the flesh just, got weak in that presence or whatever. But definitely if you know it's a good spirit, there's nothing to per se be afraid of. Okay. So he started to give the message. All right. I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt. Remember, we read in the last chapter, he said, by the reason, they was crying and everything, and I heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant. This is what we talk about when I see him, all right? And it wasn't that God was blind and didn't see us going through this, bondage and going through all this stuff, but now it's kind of, I won't say poetic talk. It's kind of talk to just say, like, now it got the attention, all right? I'm going to recognize the cry now, okay? Because we do go to Isaiah, you can see that he can hide his face from us, okay? Even when we cry out to him when we ain't doing right. So I certainly seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by what? By reason of their taskmaster. All right. For I know their sorrows. I know why they cried to me. I know the reason. All right. We didn't like that bondage. Absolutely not. And then he said, I'm coming to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up. All right. So this was all, if you can understand it, this was part of the plan of God. All right. When he does things, it's usually not just one thing. He usually knocking out 2 or 3 birds with one stone. Okay. So a reason even going to affliction, we cry all this stuff. He's knocking out a lot of things in this one event that we're looking at. All right. And he said the ultimate thing is I got to take you out of here and get you to the land. Okay. Remember, this was never supposed to be where we were supposed to stay at forever. Because remember, we already had a covenant, a promise with our forefather. We already knew he had a land reserved for us. Sometimes we might have forgot the promise, and we living good in Egypt kind of forgot it. We might have got too comfortable. All right. But the whole plan was always to take us to that land. All right. Why does it say it flow with milk and honey? What does that symbolize or showing? Why did he? Because he always kind of say the land flow with milk and honey. We always hear that. Why is he saying that? What does that mean? What's the importance of that? Land flowing with milk and honey. Why does he always say that?
It stands for prosperity.
Prosperity? Yes. I'm saying that yes. Because this is dealing with the land. He's saying the land I'm going to send you is going to be flowing with milk and honey. So what it's talking about the land is what? Prosperous. All right. If it's flowing with milk, what does that show? You understand where milk come? Where do milk come from? I'll put it that way. What do you think? You say flowing with milk and honey. Why is using milk? Why is using honey? These are things, remember, they're agricultural, those things like that. They having cattle and all that stuff. You need to have milk. What do you have to have? What do you have to be? I'm kind of trying to.
Yeah, meaning that the land is not iron anymore. With grass, iron is now growing grass, and the cows are able to eat and produce.
It's good land, absolutely. Because I don't care how many cow stuff you got there. If you go to a wilderness, I would say like a desert, what happened? All that cattle gonna die. You don't want to go there. He said, no, I got a good land for you, where it be prosperous. Your cattle be able to, all this stuff, the nourishment, all these kind of things. All right, the honey is flowing with honey. Okay, so it's not a place I'm taking you where it's okay land. He's saying this is going to be beautiful land. Y'all going to be able to dwell here. Y'all going to be able to prosper here. Okay, so that's why he's always telling you, I ain't giving. Remember, the Most High Man, he ain't giving us no okay land. He's giving us the best. Okay, so this ain't no desert spot, no remodeling land we got to do. It's like, nah, this land is flowing. Look at it. Okay, remember, even women, they breastfeed and everything. What you have to do, you have to consume more, right? Because that's what produces the milk. So what's happening if it's flowing with milk? Meaning what? There's a lot of things to consume to what produce, right? So it's kind of that kind of language. All right. So even though they're getting this land, there's some people that's there right now. All right. So he's sent some places, the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites. So they already going to be a target because they're in the land, and they're not going to give up that land per se easily. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. Make sure I don't got nothing in the chat. All right.
As far as the honey part, what did you say regarding that?
The honey, I just have notes on this too. I want to say even with some people use it as the pollination and stuff, because I think even with honey they're good at pollinating. So I did hear that. Also, I heard about like this. It's sweet. I heard different kind of breakdowns with it. But it was something very specific that I seen with honey as well. I don't know if it's like a rarity. I gotta find a note on it. But there was a couple different things with it. But if I find it, I'll make sure to let y'all know.
Yeah, I see the same thing regarding honey. If you got a lot of bees, then you have pollination on your crops.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of crops because of the pollination of the bees. I mean, we don't understand that today because we're far removed from this type of stuff. But if we have no bees, they actually got some good documentaries on bees on I think it was Netflix, and it shows how it's a $1 billion business of them just taking the bees to different places and pollinating all their stuff and then going to another place. And because our bees are scarce in regards to what we did to them. So they just showed how pretty much the world revolves around them doing their job. And like you say, if you got a lot of honey, then it's like, you got a fruitful bees and everything's being pollinated. And now you have a great land of everything you need.
And you also, I think, you have to have water supply close to them and everything. Like they don't just with bees, like they find their spot. So you have to have something that can kind of house them. You can't, ain't like having a dog or something, like you have to have a spot. So even showing there's probably water supply close. Like you said, even the spreading of certain things, that's going to prosper. It's probably going to look beautiful because, like I said, pollinating, it's a lot of, it's a lot of things about the bees.
It's crazy because two things. My wife, we're probably gonna try to do something with bees, but I had a friend that makes the honey, and he said it was a guy that every class is taught off of. It's one guy, I think he's set for like 2 years and just watched bees, and nobody has went beyond what he has found, and everybody teaches off what he found. And he was showing, when I went to his house to see it, he was showing how when they go out facing the sun, and then they know how to get back depending on how the sun is, going down. They know when to start coming back. He said if you move something, it messes them all up. Like you said with water. Like if they go and find water, they come back and tell the whole colony where water is. So he had these water dishes like in his yard. And he said he moved one before. He said once they go there and it's no longer in the spot it went, they will never go back there ever again. Cause it's like pretty much a lost cause. Like, okay, we went here, there's nothing here, don't ever go here, pretty much. So he was saying like it was really interesting just hearing all the things that he had to, but he took a whole course on the bees so he could make honey. And he was just showing how all the things that they do is based off like the sun, based off like if they found a certain crop somewhere, they go there and pollinate it, come back. And he said if he moves anything, they will never come back. And he was talking, he had a lot, just like you're saying, like he had a lot of information in regards to that. And we plan on doing gardening, so we plan on doing something with some bees as well. Hopefully, I don't get attacked, but yeah, but that's the goal.
You got to do your homework. I'm gonna get you right after this, Kyle. I seen your hand up. With the garden, that's another thing. Like I said, the land. Remember, this time it was technology, and you grabbing it from here. Remember, so if you have a land that's self-sufficient, can run, that's king, right? Because you want to go where you're resting. They don't have to be dependent on, well, I got to go here to grab this supply. You have it there. It's prosperous. You know what I mean? So the Most High is really showing this is the best I'm giving y'all. I think even honey has healing properties. Like it's a lot of stuff. We probably lost half the knowledge that they had in those days, but even from the limited knowledge we have, it's a lot of benefits from each animal, not just the bees. Every animal has a very intricate part, and just taking one out can drastically change it. All right, but I'm not going to geek out on the Animal Channel right now. Brother Kai, what you have?
No, just to add on to what your brother's saying, there's a significant decrease in the bee population, honeybee population. Even when I was little, I used to see we used to catch bees, me and my brother, And just now when I look around, I don't see as many bees as I used to see, honeybees that is. I mean, I see wasps and yellow jackets, but the honeybees, like, you rarely see them. And I remember when those murder hornets, there was a sighting of them. That's why they made an effort to dig up all those nests to get rid of them. Because if they wouldn't have got rid of those murder hornets, they would have basically, wiped out the remaining European honeybees that's remaining in the U.S. And see over there in Africa, in other states, they got those not states but countries, they got those Africanized honeybees, and they came up with a thing where they can kill hornets, where they would jump the hornets. You know what I mean? Because I follow a couple of those beekeeper channels on YouTube. But over here, the European honeybees are a lot more docile. So that's why you got a lot of beekeepers. They, keeping those bees and trying to preserve the honeybees. But back in the biblical days, they was plentiful. It wasn't like it is now. Now it's they almost if they don't do something about it now, they're gonna be extinct. It's they had a scare. They scare us right now, the honeybees, man. It's just a shame, And I just have to add that, basically what I used to see when I was growing up and what I see now, I rarely see them anymore.
Yeah, it's man has tampered with a lot of stuff. But if you just leave everything by itself, like we gave this land just probably a year's rest or whatever, things will start to come back. Even things we probably thought it start to come back. Like the world, like the earth recovers itself. It's just when man gets in it, we started messing up a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's so many things with that. But the Kyle, what you got? You're on mute if you're talking, bro.
It was going in and out. But yeah, like Ty was saying, like if you control the food, you control the people. So if you wipe all the bees out, take all the seeds out of the fruit so we can't replant, then we got to go to you. So this is another reason, Israel needs to be able to be self-sufficient, because if they take, like you said, they take everything out, take the seeds out the fruit, now we have to go to the other nations to even eat when we can actually replant ourselves. But
wait, if you're talking, you went out.
And pumping this stuff in there, and this is what we thrive on. This is what we eat all the time. So you can see why a lot of our people are mentally, have different breaks, these different rages, because it was always intended to, find what Israel likes, find what Israel's into, and control Israel, control the world. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even one more fun fact. They even say when you have like allergies, some people are allergic to certain things, like the season. Some people can't like go outside because of that stuff. They said even honey has a healing property for that. They say you take like the honey from the area you're allergic to, you just can't grab like from another place. But if you get like the honey from that area and take like I think like a spoonful like a day, it can actually help you to kind of I guess to build a tolerance for it. I guess because the bees are grabbing it from that area and everything, you're taking it. So it's just like natural stuff. Like I said, beloved. But if you're in the honey, if you really want to get the good, you try to get the raw honey because they making honey. You want to get the raw stuff. But okay, I won't go too hard to that. Anybody else got anything? All right. But this is all part of the scriptures. But I want y'all to realize it ain't just thou shalt not. Learning, understanding nature, how things, that's all part of the scriptures. All right. Wisdom of the Bible, that's the same thing. Even Solomon, I went to look out and search it out, finding things about everything. Because the more you dive into these things, you're going to see it goes back to, if you really study it, you're going to see it has to be a supreme being. If you have them people that's just, they don't have no ulterior, if they just study stuff, they'll say it's too complex to be by accident. Can't be no big bang in this. No, they say everything, it works too perfectly, right? So even and there's a scripture in the Apocrypha, even in his creation, he said he put it a certain way that if you study it, you will realize the creator. You can run into him. A lot of people don't go that deep, but everything. Astrology, if you just stop trying to figure out when your birthday is and thinking you can, you have from the time you were born, you have an attitude or you're going to be this and that. If you stop looking at it for the foolishness and you really just try to study certain things, you can find that this has got to be a God that did this. There's no way everything can be perfectly how it is, because one imbalance can throw everything off. So he did make some of these things complex that, if you really were diving into something like that, you can still see him and see the genius and the magnitude and the power of him. Okay. All right. Brother Kai, where we at?
Take 10.
All right. We did 9? All right. I'm starting from 9 then, just in case I might have messed up.
Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel has come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt.
Give me another one, please.
And Moses said unto God, who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt.
All right. Anybody got anything from 9 through 11? Anybody got anything from 9 through 11? So once again, beloved, one theme you will see. The Most High, when we do, a lot of times we're doing wrong. This one, it's kind of hard because we kind of came in there, but he will send us and put us under some kind of captivity. That's usually the pattern, right? We start acting up, wilding out, put us under some captivity. We be under after a while. We start crying out to him. He delivers. Same thing. We get delivered. We start, going back, sinning, wilding out, and then he put us back to a captivity. We start to realize and start crying out. Then he delivers. So we have this little pattern with that. However, what you do to Israel, yes, he takes that personal. Okay. Even though we acted up and do this thing, we put them on there. But once they start going, crazy and things you see like now, he looks at that and he's just preserving judgment. But it's going to happen. Okay. You cannot do his people wrong. He says that over and over. All right. They're the apple of his eye. Okay. Some people, I ain't gonna say it was ever like great, but there was times where some of them would be decent to be under. All right. Then there was some that's trying to persecute us, and you try to, rape and all that stuff. Oh, he's gonna get him back for that. Okay. And just so you see that. So he does see it, and he don't always execute it speedily, as the scripture says. So sometimes we're like, God don't see what we going through. It's been, 50, hundreds of years. He don't execute it speedily. All right. But he says, oh, it's still gonna go into account. Okay. So don't ever lose faith because you don't see the judgment. All right. Because a lot of times we want to see the affliction. We want to see the vengeance of the Most High. Okay. But it will happen. So that's, he will bring him out of Egypt. Like we said, we already know the covenant with that. And Moses said to God, who am I that I should go into Pharaoh and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? So that's his question. So I hear what you're saying, but me? Who am me? Who am I? I ain't nobody of importance like that can bring, that Pharaoh's gonna actually yield to me and listen to me, and I'll be able to deliver them out of Egypt. Okay. So let's see what happens. Verse 12.
Yep.
All right.
And he said, certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee when thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt. Ye shall serve God upon this mountain. And Moses said unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers hath sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them?
All right. And this is about to go into the big old battle of names. All right. One of the battles. Okay. So now this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. Listen, so we talk about a token. Anybody remember another time the Most High is talking about a token? Something he said that would be a token. There's something else in the scriptures where the Most High said this will be a token. Make sure it is the same word, I believe. But there was something that was given to us, and it'd be a token. Anybody remember?
Circumcision.
Circumcision. We read it. I got to look it up to make sure I use the word token. Genesis 17 real quick. Start at verse 10, 17, and verse 10.
This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you.
So the circumcision was a token of the covenant. Okay. So using the same kind of wording, for when he's talking about what he was asking him. Certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee. This is how you gonna know that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve God upon this mountain. Okay, so remember, well, we didn't get to it yet, okay, but I want to say, yeah, I guess Exodus 19, 20 and everything in Mount, that's the time where that's being fulfilled. All right. So that's going to be the token reminder. All right. So now you'll know that it's established. Verse 13, Moses said unto him, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers have sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? Okay. So Moses is throwing this hypothetical thing out. Okay. He's saying, listen, what about I'll go to him and I say, they start questioning me like, what's his name? When I say the God of our father, that should have been enough either way, God of the fathers, but they might start to ask more detail. Okay. What's that name? What shall I say unto them? He said, how should I respond to them if they ask this question? Okay. We talked about name before. I don't want to keep being dead horse with that. But that name can be the actual name of something. You have to go to Hebrew. You're not going to get it from here. Name or the reputation or it could be a name, the reputation, or like the characteristic of describe like the characteristic of something. Okay. So it don't have to be also like, what's your name? It's built like it can talk about what your reputation is, what you're doing. So that's just a little fun fact about the Hebrew word of the name. All right, let's go to the next one, 14 and 15. Yeah, let's do 14 and 15.
God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am, have sent me unto you. And God said moreover unto Moses, that thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yahweh God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations.
All right. So as you see it in all caps in verse 14, when you go to the Hebrew, any Hebrew, there is no capital letter. All right. So that's always when you see it all caps with Lord, that's the tetragrammaton of the name, but there's no like capital letters. Okay. So I am that I am. If you ever heard of the name
Ahaya.
yes. Thank you. Ahaya. That is I am. So you might hear people say Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya. Is that correct? Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya. Yeah. So that's I am that I am. So some people take the name saying this is his name. Literally, I am that I am. Okay. So when you see here's somebody saying Ahaya, this is where they're saying it. They're not trying to throw off or bid. No, they're getting it from the scriptures. All right. It's just the interpretation of it that we don't see eye to eye with. But once again, not that particularly, I won't say big deal, but this is where they're getting it. All right. You always want to see kind of sometimes where somebody might get something from. So they get it where God said, say I am that I am. And he said, thus shall I say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent thee. So this is where they're saying, see, he's saying his name is Ahai. Okay. So now you can see where that came from. Verse 15. And God said, moreover, so this is not where it stopped. Okay. It says, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the Lord. That's in all caps. And if y'all have not been hearing it, when Brother Kai see the all caps, he knows that's actually dealing with what we say the name of God. All right. So the all caps is known as the tetragrammaton. If you've seen, a lot of times you'll see people say the YHWH, right? Some people say that what Yod Hey, Vav Hey, those kind of things. That's the tetragrammaton. That's the that's the popular way where they saying everybody say that's the name of God. Even when you look at the thing, they'll say like that's the name. So this is where that's why they cap it and they say, listen, we're going to put Lord in all caps instead of actually putting his name. Okay, so that's why you see in the scriptures when it's all caps, that's dealing with the Father. When it's if it's a capital L and then ORD, whatever, that can be a Lord. That can be a angel, that can be a person. That's just dealing with, kind of like authority or hierarchy. But the all caps is very specific to the Father. That's dealing with his name. Okay. So just so when we see it, because unless Kai make a mistake, he won't say it unless it's all caps. That's the one which is his name. All right. So Yahweh, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, have sent me unto you. So he's going to say, moreover, say this, right? Has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. All right. So this is why you hear it all the time. Either with sometimes they'll just use tetragram to Yahweh, or sometimes they will refer to as, the God of Abraham, Isaac. You see those kind of titles, whatever. All right. So this one's more specifically the name. This is dealing with kind of the association name with it. Okay. Both of them was acceptable in the scriptures. They knew when you say the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, everybody knows who you're talking about. Okay. So we ain't going to argue and get all caught up in that. All right. And this is my memorial unto all generations. Okay. So all generations. So you'll see even certain, it's not a name class right now, but even it will say, I think it's in Psalms, it says like Jah, or it will be Yah, whatever. That's the abbreviated form. This. Okay. If you understand it, they both names mean like the existing one or to exist. That's what his name mean. That's what the name mean in the Hebrew. When you look at it, it's to exist or the existing one. So we just talking about, it ain't like, oh, Bill, like I'm the existing one, right? That's the thing. I just exist. You can't, and that's kind of appropriate with, like I said, patterns, because with the Most High, he usually give names associated to certain characteristic and things, right? We see that all the time, right? Look at the 12 tribes of Israel. Their names mean something, right? Usually connected to a characteristic of them. So what could you connect to the Most High? It's like, he just exists. He's just everything. All right. So that's what it is. Okay. That's 14, 15. Do you read 16?
No.
All right. All right. We're gonna keep reading. And like I said, when we look at it, this is my understanding. When you look at the scriptures, you don't hear the I am throughout the scriptures, but you'll get how all through it. Okay. So if it was something that they have to do, they should have been, my understanding, they should have been sticking with it if that was named and that's what they referenced it as. Okay. But I believe it's kind of the same thing, the breakdown of existing one. Right. Verse 16. Just listen to it.
Go and gather the elders of Israel together and say unto them, Yahweh God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you and seen that which is done to you in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites, and of the Hittites, and of the Amorites, and of the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey.
Again, he always reestablishing what his covenant was. All right. He's telling you, I'm letting us know I stick to my word. Okay. I ain't forget that covenant is still in effect. It's going to be in effect. All right. One thing that's missing, right? When we look at verse 16, how is he addressing them to the elders? How do you start that? How do you start that off? Which name did he use? Read that verse 16.
The name from the very beginning in Genesis. That's why he said, go gather the elders, because the elders know.
Come.
This name out is all, you can go right in the beginning, like you said, you go to the beginning, it's the same thing. Like I said, see patterns, you sometimes ignore the patterns. But he already knew. He didn't even question. Moses didn't say what he said when they started asking that question. He didn't even question it. But the big point is, where Moses would be wrong, didn't he just tell him, thou shalt say unto the children, I him have sent me unto you? He just said what? Say unto them, the Lord God of your fathers, God of Abraham. Which one is he referring to? This statement. I didn't do nothing. I ain't changed it. Look at how he responded. He told them, Lord God of heaven. He's going by what? The memorial part. That should be the elder generations. Say unto the elders, listen, Yahweh God of your fathers, God of Abraham appeared unto me. Okay. And he remind them of what the promise was, because they should know what the promises was, because we're supposed to teach our tradition down from the children. All right. So the elders would know about what? The covenant. They should know about the covenant. All right, that was given. So when they're hearing it, oh, now Moses coming and saying, listen, how God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he spoke to me, and he said, basically, we're gonna get this land flowing milk and honey and everything. The elders would be like, oh, we heard of that. We know of that promise. That was passed down. We remember what Father Abraham went, so this is where it's just a refresher. Okay. Same thing, go to the New Testament, things that Paul and doing, they're grabbing stuff from old. People that have been, they should understand and be able to relate to it. Okay. But a random person wouldn't know. You have a Philistine, they'd be like, what the heck are you talking about? Right. But the elders would know. Okay. What verse we at, brother?
Verse 19.
Milk and honey. We read 18?
No, I did. So.
Okay, let's go to 18.
And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt. And ye shall say unto them, Yahweh God of the Hebrews have met with us. And now let us go, we beseech thee, 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to Yahweh our God. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go. No, not by a mighty hand.
All right. So what they would see, once again, I don't want to keep being dead horse with it, but he's saying what? When you go to elder of Israel unto the king of Egypt. So I'm bringing the elders, and y'all can go to the king of Egypt, right? And ye shall say unto him, listen what they said to the Pharaoh. Yahweh, God of the Hebrews, have met with us. So what name they keep addressing? So he told the elders this, and then now he's telling what? The Egyptian king this. Why? Because his fame is going to spread. His name is going to spread. All right. So they was, yeah, they're God, right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he might not be able to recognize them by that. Why is the case? Remember, this is the Pharaoh that didn't know who. Remember, it said this Pharaoh rose that didn't know who. Keep y'all sharp.
I didn't say nothing. I gotta.
This Pharaoh didn't know who. What forefather? This is dealing with Joseph, right? Remember, Joseph was high up in the food chain. That's how we got there, right? And then it said a Pharaoh rose that what? They didn't know Joseph. Okay. So he didn't have too much by the insight like the first one did. All right. So let me reintroduce myself. And this is what's happening. Okay. Because Most High wants us to know who's doing it. That's very important, beloved. He's a jealous God. This is why sometimes he don't do certain things for people, because we won't give him credit. We'll say stuff like, oh, it's a coincidence. Oh, wow, that's crazy. We'll do those kind of, Most High don't want that. You need to give him his praise. Sometimes you have a sickness and you've been praying to him and then he healed you. Then you go say, oh, well, it was this person that did it. It was this that did it. And you don't give, that ain't good, beloved. Okay. Make sure you give that honor where it's due. All right. Let's keep going. Let's finish it up. Finish up the chapter. So we go to the next one.
Verse 20. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I would do in the midst thereof. And after that, he will let you go. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And it shall come to pass that when ye let go, ye shall not go empty. But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourneth in her house, jewels of silver, and of gold, and raiment. And ye shall put them upon your sons, and upon your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians.
Keep that in mind, beloved. We got a couple chapters to go, but keep that in mind when we deal with the Passover, all right? Because they already knew they weren't going to leave out what? Empty. Why is this important, beloved? Because he's mapping it out. So when you see this come about, you will believe. Because there's some people that go through all these, seen all these, we know the plagues happening, right? See all these plagues and leaving out, and they'll still, I wonder if that was really God. They'll get, this how stupid we'll get. That quick, we'll forget. He's let them know, but right from the jump, listen, y'all want to get out of here. Because I don't want you to give no credit, because y'all might get stupid and thinking some other guy did it. I'm letting y'all know, I'm going to lead y'all out of here. And what? Y'all not going to be broke slaves like you was in here. Y'all going to be spoiled. I'm going to tell you who's going to spoil you. The Egyptians, your masters right now, you don't see it right now because you're in the midst of it, but they are going to give you their riches, and you're going to leave out with a high hand before their sight. Mapped out perfectly. He gave them the sign. So then they can say, truly, truly, God has brought us out. Our God did it. All right. And we see that don't last long because, they went in the wilderness and they start acting buck wild, but he did lay it out for them. All right. Y'all going to leave out of here. You're going to leave out with a mighty hand. All right. And I'm going to put a lot of plagues. Once again, because we did talk about that a while ago. Why is he going to, where did it say that? I stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof. And after that, he will let you go. So he's saying, I got to do all my wonders. Remember, I told you about the time. The Most High have his time. He could have did one or two or went right to last when he got out. He said, listen, I got to do all the ones that I want to do. Then you will go out free. And only then is the completion of the time. Why did he choose those plagues? I talk about how they were strategic. Why did he use certain plagues that we've seen done? I know we didn't get to the plagues happening yet. But what is the importance of why he did some of the plagues? He got the cattle dying. He got the sun going out, right? In dark. He got the water turning to blood, right? Why do you think he did those plagues? Anybody know? Sister Zoe?
For the Pharaoh to let the people go.
To let his people go? Absolutely. That is part of it. Absolutely. There's another part. He's specific on some of the plagues he chose. I mean, the Most High ain't doing nothing just to be doing it. Brother Kai?
He executing judgments on all the gods of Egypt. That's particularly why, because they got gods of agriculture, river gods, frog gods. Egypt is a polytheistic people, meaning they worship more than one god. So he's executing his judgment to show his people and also the Egyptians that there is only one power, and that's Yahweh.
Yes. So he was hitting on their gods. Like I said, this is why it's so nice, because we look at it like, oh, he just showing his power. He was doing that, right? But he wanted to hit their gods to let them know them gods that they're serving ain't able to do nothing. Because we know there's only one true God. When you think about the sun, Ra, that was a big God, sun God. Right? A lot of people talk about, difficult. They have the sun God. That's the sun God. What's the power of the sun God? Got the sun going. Our God was able to what? Take that from them. So they go in there praising Ra, and Ra just look. I think it's Ra. It might be another one, but they're praising him and everything and thinking nope, it's our God that controls the sun. Oh, we thank this God because the water turned to blood. Nope. They reason about the hands of our God. What y'all get is because his mercy, he don't allow it to be. The heathens can sometimes recognize that. It's sad that we don't recognize that. Most High do all that, and we be the ones who want to go back and grab the heathens' God. That's the sad reality of the situation. All right? Their gods couldn't deliver them, but we go to their God. And you see it still to this day, right? They tell you how their God, oh, your God forsook you and all this stuff. You need to go Egyptology. That's the big famous one, right? You sitting right up next to us in this captivity. Like, you running things? If you guys, if they're so great and everything. So make sure don't get caught up, beloved. These are just distractions. All right, our God still runs the show. But when he's done with everything he need to do, then and only then that's when he'll deliver. All right. And the next time he delivers, it's going to be a true deliverance. All right. Anybody got anything before we jump into this next chapter? All right. Chapter 4. Brother Kai, give us 3 verses. Let's do 3 verses on this one.
Moses answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice. For they will say, Yahweh have not appeared unto thee. And Yahweh said unto him, What is in thine hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent, and Moses fled from before it.
All right. What do we see in these 3 verses? Anything stand out to y'all? There's something that stands out to me.
Seeing it.
Anybody got anything for the first 3 verses? All right. So Moses answered and said, Behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice. And they will say, what?
Yahweh.
He ain't even give all the God. He went right to it. They're going to say, he ain't speak to you. Either they understood it or they already knew. Okay. Another point we can grab from this, beloved, the Most High gets the messenger right. Right? Who really has the issue or lack of faith, beloved, in this? Who has the problem right now? People? Anybody else? Moses. Good point. How do we know Moses got the problem right now, beloved?
The power of the lack of faith.
Yes. Look what he's asking and saying. If the Most High tell you to do something and saying this was going to happen, if you have faith, you're just going to do it. You know it's going to happen. But he can't see it right now because he's thinking about how hard and stubborn Israel is stubborn, right? But the Most High might tell us to do something. I want you to go and do this and talk to people. We think like, nah, they ain't gonna listen, Lord. Nah, they gonna clown me. They gonna say this. The same thing we would do. That's why I love the scriptures. Moses was a powerhouse, as he get through. But look at the beginning part. Moses answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice. For they will say, he didn't say nothing yet. The Most High is saying, you're going to go and say this. Even the first part. He said, when I go and tell them, this is who sent me, and they say this, how should I respond? He's going off of how they're going to respond with all these things. But it's really showing a little bit of lack of faith. All right? He's doubting. Before he gets to the people, he's doubting. Everything given Most High, he's having a question about it. But I don't think they're going to receive it. That's going to be hard, Lord. And this is why the Lord is doing what? He's saying, the Lord said unto him, what is in thy hand? And he said, a rod. Okay? Now let's read. I just want y'all to listen to this, beloved, because this is very important. Come to preach and everything. They got the same fight. You got to be thoroughly convinced before you start trying to convince others. Your faith can't be wavering and you trying to get other people to come into the faith. Okay? All right. Verse 3.
And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground. And it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Put forth thine hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. That they may believe that Yahweh, God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, have appeared unto thee.
So he's saying, listen, you're going to cast this thing on the ground. And we see Moses wasn't no snake charmer because that thing hit that ground and turned to a snake. And when Moses started running away. All right. I don't blame him on that one. Okay. Oh, go ahead, brother. What you got?
And this remind me, somebody in the New Testament, I believe it was Paul, said, miracles are for the non-believers. So Moses had a little bit of trouble with faith right here. That's why the Most High, had performed these miracles. You know what I mean? Because Moses had trouble believing. It was a little bit of doubt in his heart. So that's why he had to show him these miracles to show him that he is dealing with the one and only true uh, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give him that reassurance.
Absolutely. Right. And this is what happened, beloved. We got to get the leaders right so the people can believe, right? If your leaders is doubting all that stuff, what happened? That doubt and fear and all that stuff is going to spread. So I say you can't do nothing in doubt. The Most High understanding this is why he's remember, he's just introduced himself to Moses saying this is what you're going to do. So that's a lot. That's it ain't like grab 5 people out of Egypt and y'all gonna get out of here. Moses be like, okay, I could probably do that. He's talking about a whole nation that's under Egypt. Egypt is a powerhouse, a world powerhouse, beloved. I want us to paint the picture. All right. I want to paint the picture. It's like we talk about Americans, like, yeah, I'm gonna get you to go here and you're gonna take them all out. And not you just gonna go all out. They're gonna actually pay them and y'all gonna leave all out. You'd be like, oh Lord. that's a little extreme now. Who am I to do that? To deliver all of them? Not one or two, all of them? So we see sometimes when I don't want to say logical because most times logical reasoning, but there's certain parts, beloved, where faith has to go beyond that logic. Sometimes if we can't particularly see it and visualize it, we believe it can't be done. You say it's impossible. But that's why faith is so important, because then the things that we believe is impossible, it's possible through what? The faith of God. All right? Because I don't put that, I'm not trying to downplay him or play him, anything like that. I want to know he was just like us, beloved. I keep trying to show the parallel because sometimes we'll put him on a pedestal, which is rightfully so, give him honor, but don't put him where he's untouchable. He's going with the same things that we deal with. Okay? So when you feeling, I need this, I don't know about this, don't think you wicked or evil. This is the same process. One of the greats, Moses. You know how great Moses was? The name still ring bells. He was going through the same thing. But let's learn from this and not go into the doubt that he had. Let's look at this and say, Lord, we want to trust you. Okay? Sister Zoe, what you got? Unless that was the hand by accident. Okay. Might have been an accident. Okay. So once again, he did that, put the snake out. And that's one thing, beloved. Egypt had some tricks and magic stuff too. So I ain't going to put it like just one little thing will do it for them. All right. But once again, for them, seen it go to a snake, grab the tail, whoop, back to a stick. Now that's something, beloved. All right. And that shows you the power. That's a small taste of the power of the Most High. But he said they'll believe off of that. Right? Because what? This is for the unbeliever. A believer of God, beloved, would what? They didn't need to see the snake. They will just believe the word. But we see through the pattern, he will do something miraculous for the unbeliever. Right? When we go forward in the scriptures, right, we don't have to see, well, Moses like, listen, Lord, I don't know if this is you telling me, so I need to see that snake trick again every time. He ain't doing that every time. I do it till you get to this point, and then it should not be off of, I need miracles every second. The churches have gave us this false reality of you got to get a miracle every time just to believe. Well, I ain't gonna believe that God do this. You just pray. No, that's not what we're supposed to be teaching you. We teach you that will be the pedestal to get you where you get to get. Sometimes he do certain things so you when you first starting off. All right, I'm scared to give to the Most High because things go wrong. Sometimes he'll do something and what? He might bust you 100-fold, that next week. You might give him $1 and you found $100 on the ground or whatever. That's just to show you something, but don't expect every time you give to the Most High, I got to have $100 waiting for me. That ain't how it works. All right? So we use these things as pedestals, as learning blocks, okay? There's certain things he's going to show himself. Man, I'm scared to do this or stand for God in this at my job because this X, Y, and Z might happen, right? he might do something to move that. But then you get to a point where it's like, listen, whether you don't, I'm just going to stand on what the word of God said. See, that's when it just hit a maturity. And we don't want to, I don't know how you mean. I don't go in there trying to tear people down. We have to realize some people at different levels of faith, right? Some people need that at that time. Don't hurt them at that time because you needed something that shook you up. We be honest, something gave us the all right, we need to start taking this serious. Don't hurt them at that time. They need strength. When our brothers and sisters are weak, whether it's in the faith or anything, strengthen them. That's what they need. They don't need the hammer to knock them over the head. Oh, you weak. You just this and you. That ain't the time for that. That's the time for love. They're babes in it right now. And that's when you comfort them. But then, beloved, we ain't going to be a babe for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40. You know what I mean? We're going to have to develop. Okay? But it's a process. The Most High has a process with this. Okay? All right. Anybody else got anything? Like I said, so many beautiful gems when you read the story and you ask God, open things out. Show me lessons in it. Okay? Because there's lessons in all these things that we're getting. All right, brother, what verse are we at?
Verse 5? Number 6.
All right.
6.
Okay.
Yahweh said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it turned again as his other flesh.
Mm-hmm. Give me the next one.
And it shall come to pass, if they would not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign.
All right. So this is very important. Well, first of all, anybody got anything? I'm over here just running my mouth. I know we squeezing the juices out of these verses, beloved. Brother Kai, what you got?
The reason why I believe he was showing Moses these things, and he wanted Moses to show the children of Israel because they was at a humble estate. You know, when you look at the Pharisees was all pious. They had their noses in the air. They was going up to Yahweh Shai demanding that, you know, he showed them a sign, right? But these people, you know, they crying out to the Most High, you know, their oppressors are over them and they humble, blessed are the humble, the meek. So Moses is not demanding, he know Moses is doubting a little bit. So he using his doubt, and he also gonna use the children of Israel's doubt, to show them that he is the true and only power. I know I said that once before again, but it just came to my remembrance again. He's giving them reassurance that he is God, even though he said, "I am that I am." Like I don't, need to do no special miracle. He's still going to do this for his people to show them that he is who he say he is by his miracles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, like we said, this is a lot of people look at other miracles. This is this is a crazy miracle right there, right? Pull that hand out, put it back in. I see a lot of magicians, a lot of things, but I ain't never seen anybody even make an attempt at something like this. Okay, but once again, he's doing that. My brother was saying, hopefully, get them to get on board to believe. All right. Because those that come to God must first what? Believe. To even get in the door. If you ain't believe, you didn't even get to the door yet. You got to believe. Then things start happening and unfolding. Okay. So he would try to wake you up. Sometimes he might, beloved. When you start seeking the Most High, some things happen. You might be getting some visions. You might be getting some dreams that, don't think that's coincidence. Sometimes he try to get you to wake up and see this is real. Listen to what I'm saying, what I have for you to do. He might use people that you ain't never think, some people that's not even per se religion in the faith, but he might use them to get you a message just so you can be like, dang, this person never talks to me, never deal with me. What the heck are they talking about? Most High will use certain things like that. They don't got to be holy and right. Like, no, he can use certain aspects. But the point is to get you to wake up, to be like, listen, you need to hear my message. Okay? What you got?
And I just want to add, just because somebody having a little bit of doubt, that don't mean that they wicked or anything like that. Because who was it, Philip? Which one was it, Philip? They followed him for a couple of years, or more than a couple of years. I don't know if it was a year or more than a couple of years, but he said unless he see his hands,
It was Thomas that.
Thomas, yeah, it's like he thinks it was Thomas. He still, he need to see his hands, and he following them. You know what I mean? So, and he know those things was going to come to pass, and he was an upright man. So, sometimes we need to see something to believe at the end of the day. Some others' faith is stronger to the point where they don't need to see; they just believe. It don't mean these people are wicked. They just need to see these signs, and miracles, to believe.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine with a lot of things, beloved. There's some things that's I don't like to say salvation issue, but there's some things that's detrimental. Like, nah, you gotta have this understanding. And there's some things where it's like, no. Some things to be dealing with more faith. And everybody on here has something you probably mastered faith in a certain aspect where somebody else lacks it. And it happens. But the point of that is the thing you're strong in, beloved, we shouldn't be hating when somebody's strong in this faith. Lord, that's something to strive for. Lord, help me so I can get to the faith. Like Sister Tiffany have faith in this, right? Or let me get to the faith Sister Nancy have in this, right? Remember, this is the body. This is good. So we never want to go to a thing of coveting and this, well, they think they special. No. They just have faith. The Most High has poured faith in that situation for them. I'm talking about even for me, beloved. There's something I'm like, nah, I don't know about that. Because I couldn't see it. I lack faith. And then there's certain things I'm strong with. Read that. Okay, yep, that's it. Got it. That's why you don't want to look in your eye match and say, okay, well, because I don't, that's weak to me, their faith is weak. You know what I mean? We don't want to get into that kind of, silliness. Even with this here, beloved, off of faith. Y'all know Elder Rodney. He the one. I was somewhere, looking at him like, God dealing with me, but I'm like, nah, I think he came. And he's saying all this stuff. And I'm like, I hear you. I hear you, Elder. I don't know nobody. You know what I mean? It's different when you have a group like, okay, I can start them. I don't know nobody out there. I don't have nothing to set up. Newly married, trying to get strong in the faith. Don't have nothing, beloved. When I'm talking about pure faith, I don't like doing that. I'm somebody that I like to have assured. I like to see what I'm jumping to. But it was something he reassured me that I was pondering on already. Reassured me. And then what? A week or two later, ran into Kai. And his brother Elder was talking about Kai for weeks and months. He's like, yeah, he's doing this. He's looking at this, but he's not somebody that likes to, he likes to be in his own little thing. It was almost like a conflict. Like, I don't know about this. And that Kai had it up. Yo, let's go. Let's do it. And the funny thing is about Kai was looking to the same teacher that I was looking at. Left my father's church and I linked up with some brother. They're looking at this teacher, Brother Bowie. What's the coincidence? Brother Kai was looking at that. We linking up. We talk. Oh, Stab, you. So we already knew some kind of things. Same doctrine. All right, man. Let's. Our first thing. It still wasn't about hitting people. We was like, listen, let's go and just bring lessons to ourselves, and let's talk to each other. To, kind of get the lesson and everything. And then if something grows from it, people at least we have the same doctrine. And it would seem like a week stuff would happen, and then we're like, dang, now we're forced to it. But the original plan was like, we're going to study with each other for like 3 years or something before we even try to bring something out, just to make sure that. And through the journey, I'm still learning, have faith in God. Yeah, I've been weak in faith. I'm strong with the other aspect, but I was weak in other aspects of it. But the Most High I don't believe he does things by coincidence. That's my other faith. That's my faith I'm at. So when he linking and doing certain things, like when I tell y'all, y'all come and I believe it. With the feast, I told you I'm gonna have some, y'all gonna have some plain stuff. Brought somebody because the Most High, seeing that we were trying to serve him, he brought somebody that loved to do these kind of things. And we pray to the Most High. Most High, we don't want just people. We want you to bring your sheep. The ones that you desire to be with us, you bring them in. We don't want to bring nobody in. We want you to draw them, whoever is meant for us to be here. And because I believe that, and no offense, beloved, whether you stay or go, I have the faith in the Most High. That was for the reason. And not because everybody leaving is because they're not. I'm not that stupid to believe that. Some people got their journey they got to do. And sometimes they might not be able to do it here. I understand that fully. I'd be a hypocrite to think that can't happen. But I believe some people are here because the Most High drew you. Because you need something here. And that's why I don't speak to everybody. I don't know. I can't speak to everybody's stuff. But here I ask the Most High, you give us, at least give us wisdom that we can be a proper vessel for who you have for us to be with. Okay? So that's a long, I don't know why I go that big, but that's a long story to just show you. Listen, beloved, strengthen our faith. Disciples had it. Like Brother Kyle, they asked it, Lord, strengthen our faith. There was some things they can understand. These brothers were able to do miracles, healing people. And then they got to one where like, we can't heal this one. And Christ said, what? Y'all lack faith. But it's crazy. We was just healing people. We just couldn't do this one. But he said, yeah, you lack faith with this stuff. But they had some faith to be doing it. Peter, what made him say, Lord, let me come out to you? That was faith crying. Let me come out to you. Some people looking at the thing that he failed and saying that, this is where our mindsets are, beloved. We will put all the emphasis, man, he failed, he drowned, right? But even in his failure, he got further than anybody. He took steps on water. Nobody could do that. Some people were so focused on the failure, they came to see that he did the impossible. And this is what's going to happen, beloved. Don't be scared to fail when you're walking out on faith in God. We shouldn't be judging nobody. Okay? So people that don't do nothing, beloved, there's one thing I even heard from my grandpop, and I love it. There's people that don't do nothing don't make no mistakes. They sit there, they just criticize, they don't make no mistakes. But people that do stuff, you're going to make mistakes. All right? But if you make mistakes, beloved, ask the Most High, you be led by, Lord, I don't want to make a lot of mistakes. I don't want to make detrimental mistakes. But things that happen. There's going to be learning experiences that happen. Don't be so afraid to do anything for the Lord because I might make a mistake. We got a whole book of people that made mistakes. Okay? But the mistakes is not going to define you. Okay? When you're doing it for the Most High. But just sitting back saying, I ain't going to do nothing because I'm scared of that, that's a problem. Okay? All right. I don't even know why we went that direction. Where are we at, Brother Kai?
9.
Okay. Hearken to the voice of the first sign. All right. They don't understand the voice. Listen, the voice of the first sign. All right. Because this is supposed to be a message. These miracles are supposed to be a message. All right. They don't understand the voice, the message of the first sign. They'll understand the message of the voice of the second one. Okay. So think about them. You see the miracles, they're supposed to be a voice to what? Get our attention. Okay. All right. Let's keep going.
And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these 2 signs, neither hearken unto thy voice, that thou should take of the water of the river and pour it upon the dry land. And the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land. And Moses said unto Yahweh, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. And Yahweh said unto him, Who hath made man's mouth? Or who maketh the dumb or deaf or the seeing or the blind? Have not I Yahweh?
Mhm. So this is we see the Most High. It appears a little irritated now, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? He said, "Listen, they don't get the first time. I got the second one. If they don't get this second sign, I'm going to do this one." So the Most High, I got things set up for it. Because listen, the Most High, first of all, already knows they're not going to believe. He already knows that. But he's doing two birds with one stone. I'm going to tear them up to tear about them gods, but I also want y'all to understand that y'all are serving the true God. There ain't no accident. I'm doing one or two things. No, I'm going to keep doing it so you understand this is factual. Okay? Looking at this. But listen what he said. Moses said to the Lord, "Oh Lord, I'm not eloquent." This is another excuse, or what we call another example of lack of faith. Every time the Most High tell him to do something or say something, he's doing what? Oh, but this, what about this? What about this? Okay. And we sometimes do the same thing. We got to get that out of us. All right. We got to purge out that faithlessness in us. Okay. And that could come out, what did Christ say? Through fasting and praying. All right. If you feel like everything is just lack of faith, like do some fasting and praying. Listen to that spiritual music worship. You got to stay, you got to get your spiritual man strengthened. Okay. He said, I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. All right. He wasn't like stupid. People think, oh, Moses retarded. Nah, he's saying, I'm probably not the most eloquent speaker. And this happens, beloved, as well when it comes to even today. It ain't, like I said, ain't about me, but that was one of my one of my things. I could not, well, they used to, my friends used to make fun of me at church. I couldn't say my STR words. I don't know, Sister Angela, if that's like it might be something that's common. I don't know, but I couldn't say like street or like we say like stripping the ball. I say stripping and I say street. Like I could not get that that pronunciation. So I understand what Moses said. Listen, I don't got the best speech. Find somebody else. There's a lot of people that can speak better. But the Most High has also shown His miracle through him. Okay, beloved, He choose you because of you. Okay, you bring a special and unique characteristics that you have that He uses you. Okay, so don't shy away and say, "Well, what about me?" Don't have that doubt. Why not you? So saying why not me? Well, why not you? Okay, and then Christ start to go. He gave him the Job speech. All right, He said, "Who maketh dumb or deaf or seeing or blind? Have not I?" He's saying, you saying this like what? Do you understand? I am the creator. Don't you understand? I control that. Who's deaf and blind, all that. If anything, he said Moses can say, "Listen, Father, I'm not good at speech. Can you help me?" You see how the prayer's not even right? You have this conversation. He could have asked that, "Lord, help me out with my speech." But see where that doubt come in, it start to what? Doubt everything. That's why he said, I can't work in doubt. Doubt will have you question what's happening. I'm doubt. I don't know if that was God. See, that's why he said, I don't deal with that. But this is another thing to help us out, beloved. Who maketh dumb or deaf or seeing? People miss this part. The Most High does it. See, everybody, oh, that's Satan. So he could be the vessel using, but what? The Most High have to sign off on it. Okay. And dumb is it ain't like when we're talking about like mental retardation or anything. Dumb would be like can't speak. Right. So that would be the definition of like dumb. Okay. So dumb, they can't speak well, or deaf, of course, we know can't hear, or they're blind, those kind of things. All right. Have not I. And verse 12. Let's keep going.
Now therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say. And he said, O my Lord, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Moses, and he said, Is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well. And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee, and when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart.
Keep going.
And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth, and with his mouth. and will teach you what ye shall say.
Do.
Do. Do.
So anybody see anything from those verses? Anybody see anything? All right. So when we're looking at this, beloved, now we see what God is upset. Okay. The anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. All right. Because Moses, he kept on doubting, right? He kept on, putting his thing, please send somebody. He just told you, I'm able. And this is what we're saying. When you have doubt, you can't even understand, you can't even see the scriptures right. He just literally told him, go with them. I'm sorry. Now, therefore, go. No, let me go up 11. Who have made man's mouth, or who maketh the dumb or deaf or the seeing or the blind? If we're looking at it sober-mindedly and we can understand, he's saying that I control that. Right? If you have a slow tongue, I control a slow tongue, so I can take that away. But see, when you're in that state of doubt and fear, you can't see things clearly. And why do we know? Because Moses said this, oh, my Lord, I pray thee by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. Right? He still needs somebody. So that doubt got there, and God get fed up after a while. I'm not saying you can doubt. That could be, I'm not saying that's uncommon, but that don't mean the Most High gonna be happy because you doubting. Okay. So you already showed him a couple miracles, like, all right, now you about to get me upset now. But still the Most High understood, and he still put something in there. So he's saying, listen, you got a brother, all right, Levite. Remember, Moses is a Levite, already mentioned before. Saying you got a Levite brother. He's going to be happy to see you. He's going to go, all right? He's going to be doing the bidding for you, okay? He's going to be the spokesman. You read verse 16, right? No, you did. You're at 16. So let's read from there.
I'm back, bro.
Okay. Verse 16.
Okay. And he shall be thy spokesman unto the people, and he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of a God.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt take his rod in thy hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. And Moses went and returned to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said unto him, let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt, and see whether they be yet alive. And Jethro said to Moses, go in peace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, no, we keep there. All right, anybody got anything for those verses? All right, so verse 16, and he shall be thy spokesman unto the people. All right, so he's going to be the vessel that speaks to the people, and he shall be to thee instead of a mouth. All right, so in other words, he's saying that's going to basically be your mouthpiece. All right, like we'll say, oh, that's the mouthpiece, right? He's talking, he's going to be the one that's talking it. And thou should be to him instead of God. All right, because what? When you understand it, it's not talking about he's going to be now the Most High, right? God give the message definitely to prophets and everything, okay? So the prophets are like the mouthpiece of God. He uses them as the vessels to get his message. So God is still saying, I'm talking to you, I'm dealing with you, Moses. You're going to give it to Aaron, all right? Aaron's just going to deliver the message. So you're going to be like the God to him. You're going to be the one that's giving him the message of what he's going to speak, okay? So this is what it's dealing with. And thou shalt take this rod in thy hand, whereof thou shalt do signs. So he's saying, this is the rod that you're going to use to do the signs. Okay. Now, could the Most High did this stuff without the rod, with everything? Yes. All right. Probably, if I want to guess, right, this conversation, I will guess that was probably more for maybe him or maybe for the people to see that this is happening. All right. He's using that kind of sign for them to understand it. Okay. If you just start doing things, a lot of people be like, I don't know, stuff just started happening. I don't know what, but they see, okay, Moses do this happened. Okay, Moses do that. Oh, okay, this is through his power. All right. And I'm sure people probably started worshiping that thing anyway, because this is what we do. But anyway, that's probably he was just using for something that we can at least look at and gravitate, like I said, as newcomers. All right. Remember, our people was in bondage, captivity. It's not just going through it, but we lose part of our God because what? We start going away from the laws and all that stuff. So remember, these people are very, very young. All right. Some of them very, very young in the faith, don't have understanding, they're not strong and all those kind of things. All right. So a lot of them, they go, why they need that? Because that's why. Just like nowadays, some of us need signs because we just don't believe like we do anymore. Okay. So the same thing, the condition they're in, not saying it's an excuse, but it is what it is. Okay. All right, let's keep going.
And Yahweh said unto Moses in Midian, Go return into Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought thy life. And Moses took his wife and his sons and set them upon an ass. And he returned to the land of Egypt, and Moses took the rod of God in his hand. And Yahweh said unto Moses, When thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all these wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go.
All right. So just real quick, we look at that. What happened? The people that were seeking Moses' life are dead, right? The Most High doing everything in timing. Okay. So make sure they was out the way, put them out the way. All right. You don't have to worry about that because you probably been scared about that. Probably the next excuse. Lord, those people still trying to kill me. If they see me, they're gonna kill me. Yeah. Nah, they're gonna be out the way. All right. Moses took his wife and his sons and set them upon an ass, and he returned to the land of Egypt. All right. So he took them, and Moses took the rod, got in his hand. All right. So they're going to see wonders. He's saying, thou going to do all these wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thy hand. All right. But I will harden his heart. This is where Paul talks about it. All right. Talking about where mercy and all that stuff happens. That's what he's saying. He's saying, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart. And what happened? That he shall not let the people go. Okay. He gonna put it, let Pharaoh be stubborn like he is. All right. And he is not going to let the people go. So he's already shown them how it's going to come about when you do it to the prophets. So there'll be no shock when you do this miracle and he ain't letting y'all go. He already telling Moses. So Moses should be prepared. Let's keep going.
And Yahweh said
20.
Moses, When thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all these wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thy hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith Yahweh, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto thee, Let my son go, that he may serve me. If thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn.
All right. So he is saying what? Pharaoh, thus saith Yahweh, Israel is my son. All right. And he's my firstborn. So what can that imply? He's firstborn. What can that imply? Everybody catch it. We got some women on here. When you introduce your child as your firstborn, what's the kind of thought that can be assumed with that? Anybody know? I'm saying this is my firstborn. All right, who got children on here? Who got children on here? So when we can look at it, interesting. You don't have to, I don't want to look, like I said, too deep or anything like that. But when you say firstborn, sometimes it can imply that this ain't going to be the only one. All right. Sometimes I'm just saying. All right. So it's interesting. He used firstborn. Okay, not only born, but once again, he's using this link to say what? And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. Talking about the whole nation. And if thou refuse, let him go. Behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. So he did lay it out very frank to Pharaoh. Listen, you're withholding my firstborn. If you don't let my son go, All right, you refuse to let him go. I'm going to slay your son, your firstborn. I'm going to slay your firstborn that you're holding back from me. Okay, and that's I don't like to receive it, but that's righteous judgment. Holding my son for me. All right, why you got your son? You good? So he said, I'm going to take your son from you since you don't want to return it. But listen, the Most High put it out there though. You have the option. Give me my firstborn back. Give me my son back, and you good. You know what I mean? But of course, what? He was hard. He knew he wasn't going to let him go. But he knew right from the jump. And it's the same thing, beloved, we do today. We will tell people, this is what thus saith the Lord. Like, do it. But even though someone is going to refuse it, same spirit as Pharaoh. Okay? We don't wish it on nobody, death or anything, sickness. And I don't want to wish that on anybody. But this is sometimes what's laid out. Okay? Let's keep going.
24. And it came to pass by the way in the end that Yahweh met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So he let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband thou art, because of the circumcision.
So Zipporah did what? She circumcised, all right? And this should have been done, and looked like Moses should have did it. Okay, so I was implying, right? So when we look at this, like I said, man of God, Moses, talking to him and all that stuff, but she spared it. All right, she stopped the wrath on Moses. People don't like to talk about this, right? But part of it is we gotta love the Bible. It came to pass by the way in the end that Yahweh met him and sought to kill him. God's talking to him to go and deliver his people and everything. And it says, hear that what the Most High is about to kill him. But Zipporah, right, following through what he's supposed to be done, held that hand back. Okay. So there's something to look at. And this is what we say, even with the women, beloved, this is why we need to be on one accord. So I need to be looking at stuff as well. Because sometimes as men, not sometimes, all the time as men, we have our moments, whether they in it or not. Okay. And you could be that mercy for them. All right. You can spare them. Ain't no thing where only the men know. Yeah, they can leave. But still, there's times you come and you definitely go in there and help and do what you got to do. Okay? No matter how righteous, that's what I say, no matter how righteous the person is. All right? So this is why it's so important to talk about like you want to get that person that's on that kind of pedestal with you, because sometimes you're good in high days, sometimes you're not. And vice versa. Look, we might be up there in the minute, you want to make sure y'all both trying to walk this thing together. All right. When one is weak, hopefully the other one is strong. Bring them up. Okay. All right, let's keep going. You can finish it up.
27. And Yahweh said to Aaron, go into the wilderness to meet Moses. And he went and met him in the mount of God and kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all the words of Yahweh, who he had sent, and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Aaron spake all the words which Yahweh had spoken unto Moses, and did the signs in the sight of the people. And the people believed. And when they heard that Yahweh had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked upon their affliction, then they bowed their heads and worshipped.
So it appeared that the people actually didn't even go through all that questioning that Moses was thinking. I mean, I'm sure it's probably still happening in little aspects, but they was, for the most part, willing to hear this stuff. Okay. I understand they have not been forsaken. And also, who showed great faith? Let's see if we called it. Somebody showed great faith. Somebody here showed great faith.
Aaron showed great faith.
Aaron. Once again, look, this is why we say we got to read the Bible with purity ourselves. A lot of times we talk about Aaron. What do we talk about when it comes to Aaron? We read in the scriptures. What do people usually bring out with Aaron?
Went against Moses, went to the mountain, just talk about the bad stuff.
Yeah.
You see how we are, beloved? We
Yeah.
got corruption in us. Every time you think of Aaron, oh yeah, he went up there and he made the golden calf in them, and he's over there questioning Moses. That's all they can think about with him. And this is why you got to love the Most High. But Aaron, they push up Moses, push down Aaron. Moses is getting the message, I want to say, directly from the Most High in a sense, right, with the angel. But Aaron is getting it from Moses. And he ain't questioning doing all this stuff. Okay, that's what we got to do. He's showing greater faith. This is something, oh, if I heard it from God, I believe. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Even Moses was stumbling at that. But Aaron hearing it from Moses said, okay, that's what you want to do. All right, let's go and do it. And, going out doing it. Off of something he didn't get directly. So ain't no excuse with us. Okay? But I just wanted to make sure we highlight some of these things because, like I said, not even I read the same way. We always want to push the bad things. With David, he's kind of a mixture because people love David, right? But the Bathsheba thing surely was the thing that was the talk of the city at the time. Solomon, they just talk about the 700 wives. They talk about all that. But they don't talk about Solomon's prayer where he could have asked for anything. Most High saying, I grant you what you want. And he asked that he could be he can have wisdom to judge so great a people. They don't talk about that. They talk about that. And this is what people do, beloved. That's why I'm just sharing this to let you know, don't focus on those things. People going to always try to focus on sometimes the bad thing, but the righteous, being led by the Spirit, they won't focus. They ain't focusing on the mistake. Okay? But everybody has their what? Things they're strong at, things they're not. Aaron was strong. He heard the word and believed. He didn't need all 50,000 miracles and all that stuff. He just heard Moses say, okay, I believe through the messenger. Okay? But where he lacked faith is, Moses went away. The people pressuring him, right? And this is what we have, beloved. We all got those things we strong at, we weak at. Our job is to say, Lord, strengthen us where we're weak. Okay? And sometimes he's just not going to, let me pour some strength in this area. Sometimes he'll put certain situations. Sometimes he got the congregation, people telling their testimonies and stuff, and that can be encouraging and strengthening us. All right? So all these things the Most High will use for the betterment of us. You just got to be in the right spirit to receive it. Okay? All right. That's it on my end. Anybody have anything they wanted to add or take away with anything we read so far? I know we did a lot of juicing of these scriptures. I love it. All right. But I know some people they probably heard these stories and read it a million times. Sometimes I want to show certain perspectives in the scriptures. We good? We good? All right. That shalom.